Welcome back, everybody. We are tracking the blizzard warning that has now been issued for a good chunk of Western New York as we head to the holiday weekend. It all gets going Friday morning and then continues. Let's go ahead and bring in storm chaser meteorologist David Bogan. He's going to help me navigate this for you. We're taking your questions. All you've got to do is pop them in and we see them on the screen. Right as you walk in, please like and then share this thing. And we're going to start expanding this and help as many people in Western New York as possible. There are so many questions about this storm between the arrival time. You've got the wind, the cold, the flash freeze, and then the lake effect snow, all of it wrapped up into about a 48 to 72 hour window. This is the storm as it stands right now. There it is. It's about to hit the Motor City, moving through like a hammer as we have that polar front sliding through. It's already into the single digits in portions of Chicago. Enough of that. Let's talk about what it's going to do when it gets to Western New York. It arrives on our doorstep in the morning hours of Friday. You'll wake up at about 6 a.m. It's raining. By 8 a.m. temperatures are tumbling. You're at 32 at 10 a.m. That flash freeze between 10 and noon. And then the winds pick up 50 miles an hour at lunchtime, 60 miles an hour plus by dinner, and the lake effect machine kicks on in there as well. That's not confusing enough for you? Let's make it a little easier, right, David? We're going to take this hour by hour, breaking apart the day. This is Friday morning, and I want you to kind of break this apart, go from breakfast to lunch for everybody real quick here.
Yeah, I know, but I want to get to some questions right now. Mike is asking, hey, Tonawanda, Lockport at 3, doable. And then we also have other people asking about, hey, what's the weather Sunday? We've got, I got my son flying in from Florida. That's coming from Joe Kennedy. And yeah, we got a lot of questions. So let's break this down for you time by time. We'll do it as quickly as possible. We're almost up to 300 viewers right now. So Friday morning, 6 o'clock for the early risers. We're starting to see that switch over, going from rain to snowfall, that front moving on through. Southern tier seeing the flakes first. The morning by 8, 9 o'clock, everybody's seeing snowfall. This is about the time when that cold front arrives. And then once we go to lunch, the winds are going to really start to howl out there, 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts. And look at here towards central Erie County, all the way to Buffalo. That band finally begins to fire on up. Buffalo, South Buffalo under the gun for lake effect snow starting right around the lunch hour. We go into dinner. This just sits on top of the city of Buffalo, South Buffalo, doesn't even budge going into the dinner hour. So these are going to be the areas right here, right around 8 o'clock dinner hour on the Friday that are going to be significantly impacted by not just the wind, but the snowfall. Very, very poor visibility. That's why there is a blizzard warning in place for these areas from Buffalo, the Thruway, Akron. Very, very poor conditions. And this is just going to sit on top of the city for quite some time. I mean, the overnight hours, we go into Christmas Eve. Band starts to shift further north here. So we're now going into Christmas Eve morning, 5 o'clock. You're starting to see into the north towns, 990, just on the border of the Tonawandas. There's Amherst right here, 990. Christmas afternoon, it is still moving a little bit north. Maybe the city of Buffalo gets a break. It is still gusty. It is still windy out there across the entire region. Very cold temperatures, going to feel like it's in the negative teens. Lunch hour here on Christmas Eve, still on the border here, and it's going to stick around the north towns until we get into the evening. So early evening, Andy, on Christmas Eve, 5 o'clock, back into the city of Buffalo, into the south towns. And then we're finally starting to see a jog southward late Christmas Eve into the overnight hours on Christmas Day when Santa's arriving, Dunkirk, finally getting some of that snowfall out there. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and we're still getting a lot of questions here to try to answer them.
I'm gonna run a few of these down. The next thing we're doing is snow totals. So if that's your question, go ahead and do it. Joe says he's watching from the TSO tonight. It's raining in Attica. It sure is. That whole weather system is sitting right on top of us as we speak, and we're about to make that transition tomorrow morning. Hamburg, how much snow? Let's go and answer some of these questions, bringing the snow totals on the screen. We're going to start it off right here with the wide view and zoom. Let's see it right here, and there you go. That's the impact zone is that center portion of teal that goes over the lake and then on towards Buffalo. Let's bring this full so that we can kind of help as many people as possible. Take a look at this map, the most detailed snow maps you're going to see in Western New York. As we dive into the north towns, we're going to pause this on the map. Look at this. I think the least amount of anything is going to happen up in that near Youngstown. And I think if you get 3 inches of snow, it's going to be on Friday from the initial hit. As you get towards Lockport, you're in that 6 to 10. South of Lockport, 10 to 20. I know these sound like crazy ranges, but it really is the reality of how quickly this is going to go. Once you go along the thruway to Batavia, you're in that 10 to 20, and then 6 to 10 up in Orleans County. Yes, Orleans, that's you getting 6 to 10 inches of snow out of this system. All right, let's move out of the north towns and back towards the city. And then what we're going to find is once we get there, that 30 burger is right on top of downtown Buffalo. You can see it there, and it looks like that's where it's going to be. The bell ringer is going to be the city of Buffalo and the immediate area out to Alden. That will likely end up kind of closing the thruway for a time. I think that that's in the cards. It's just a matter of when they're going to decide to put that, enact it as we hit the holiday weekend. Let's bring in another version of this. Here is the map as a whole. And you're going to be able to see all of the elements on here. I'm going to take those temperatures off because we don't need them. Let's bring it back into downtown Buffalo and show you how this works out. Look at that. I mean, that is pasted right there. And if we put this on the screen, we're going to give you an idea. You're up around that 30-inch mark pretty quickly, anywhere from Kenmore to Williamsville, Cheektowaga, Sloan, West Seneca, Depew, Lancaster, Harris Hill. These are all of those big numbers. Watch how quickly it drops off, though. You go north of the 290, and you start seeing the numbers come down really quick. And about half of that, if not less. The 990, you're in there, and this is why you go from 30 to 10 to 20, because, again, the numbers just drop off the screen. Let's go to the south towns and get a peek at this. And as we drop into those communities there, you are going to find the players that we normally call out for lake effect this year. It's been Hamburg, Lackawanna, Elma. But you can see while the numbers hover in the 20s there, once you go a little further, some of the deeper sections of the south towns, Springville, Arcade, you're 6 to 10 inches of snow. Warsaw is going to be as well. It drops off very quickly on the other side of the county. Down into the southern tier we go. Let's go and give this a look. Now, the interior sections, I'm not going to spend a lot on you guys because you're only 1 to 3 inches of snow, if that, from Wellsville to Olean. But once you get into the hills here, you're about 6 to 10 in Jamestown. You go a little further, Mayville is going to be at about the 17 or 18. Look at what happens. You get to that shoreline. Dunkirk is sitting on the same 30 that you're getting over in downtown Buffalo. And at this point, want to make one pitch real quick. We've got a lot of people in here. Do me a favor. Everybody smash the like button and then hit the share button all at once. You've got your information. We're answering your questions. Just give the opportunity to somebody else. We appreciate it very much. Let's go back to the questions here and see where people are interested. Where do you guys want to take this tonight as we do this? We've got someone here. They're driving from Williamsville to West Seneca. They're supposed to leave at 8 and not out till 5:15. I'm assuming that's a PM in there, and it's not going to be easy at 5:15 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to be exceptionally hard to get around. It's going to be one of these things where during the course of the day, you're not moving much at all. This is what happens during the course of your Friday. The lake effect kicks on, and as we showed you, it's going to spend its time right there in portions of downtown Buffalo, going up into the north towns. And we're going to be able to show that to you again. Here's that changeover as we really take it almost minute by minute and let you know what's going on. Webster, we've got Webster on the map. You can see it. That's a little closer to Rochester. Your changeover is going to be in that 9 to 10:30 window, but you're going to find the same situation. You go from the flash freeze to the big winds, and then you'll catch the tail end of the lake effect. It's not as big of a deal there. Hello from Toronto. Great to have you in the house. You folks are getting the wind up there as well. You're going to see that big polar plunge happening about an hour later than Buffalo, but it's coming. A burst of snow for you, but not as much lake effect on this end of the spectrum. Will I be okay if I can go to NT? If I can go from NT to Kenmore at 8 a.m. 8 a.m., that's the time. You don't want to travel much later than 8 in the morning because that's when things get really, really dicey. I hope it gives Orchard Park and North Boston a break. When we go back to those totals, it really does give North Boston a break. That's probably where I would consider one of the things being a cutoff point. And you can see that as you go from East Aurora downward, into North Boston, the numbers, you're not in the bullseye. And that is that's Friday, Saturday, and a good chunk of Sunday. So you're not getting crushed in North Boston. It's a very manageable number over 3 days. The problem is you have these ferocious winds. This is not everybody was concerned about snow rates last time. Is it a 1 inch an hour? Is it a 2 inch an hour? How are we going to get through it? When you get winds of this magnitude, it doesn't matter what your snow rate is anymore because it's going sideways, and it's going to be the visibility that's the big thing in this whole thing. If we can go back to this map here, David, I want to bring in the time where the model will initiate the lake effect, because if there's a time that the government's going to start closing down the majors, shutting down the thruway, they're going to do it preemptively. They're not going to wait for it to get clogged and then have zero visibility. They're going to preemptively do this, and they're going to have to do it pretty quick. I'm going to bring in David. They're going to have to do this pretty quick. That's about the moment you start to see reduced visibilities on the 90, the 190 into the city, and even the lakeshore there, right?
Yeah, I mean, the airport too, Cheektowaga, the airport is right here on the thruway. So that's going to be it's going to be very tough travel within this dark blue color where the area is West Seneca, Cheektowaga, Buffalo. That band's going to initiate once we go into the lunch hour. So it's not going to be a time you want to be on the roads. I know we've gotten a lot of questions of people, hey, I need to go from Tonawanda to South Buffalo or Cheektowaga, the areas that aren't going to be significantly impacted by the poor visibility at first, the Niagara Falls, the Tonawandas. You have to, driving through this band is going to be just extremely tough.
All right, we're going to take
extremely tough.
3 questions. Is it rain on top of the snow? Well, if you have snow right now, you're going to add rain to it tonight. And then tomorrow it's rain followed by slush, followed by that flash freeze. And then that's the big deal there. Snow totals in NT on Saturday. Shall we go back to this one here? Give it a roll and see how it goes. They'll take you up to NT and pause it. And you can see the numbers there. Again, nice, big, fat numbers. We've got a lot of names on there. You can see where all the highways are. Hopefully these maps are clear. One of my pet peeves were snow maps. I know, David, when we worked together, we said it doesn't do people justice. You got to zoom in. We're even throwing Brockport in there. Let's roll this now into the city. And as we bounce from the north towns into the city, all we needed was one big number. Look at it, right, David? We're not North Buffalo, South Buffalo. It's all one Buffalo for this one.
Yeah, you're going to see some big time drifts out there too. I mean, 30 inches of snow. And then on top of that, when you get those big winds here, you're talking about 50, 60 miles an hour. And consider this, Andy, this is going to be a colder temperature profile. So the last couple of storms, we've had that heavy, wet snowman snow. Now this is going to be that very light, fluffy. The winds it's going to be easy for the winds to pick up that snow and blow it across, the houses, wherever you had the garbage totes, the bins, and we're going to see some impressive drifts out there.
That is right. All right, we're going to take some rapid fire questions here. Lane wants to go from Attica to Darien at 6:30. You've got the green light. 6:30 is fine. I like to hear people saying AM. 6:30 p.m. is a whole different story, as we showed you there. You know what we're going to do? Let's go ahead and let this run while we take a few of the questions. And then, Dave, if it gets to the end, go ahead and re-rack that for folks, and we'll just let it play from the top here. Cheryl says, hi, Cheryl, we love you. You've been to every single one of these. Great to have you along. On Friday, when the snow is to the north, the winds will be a concern in the South Towns and East Aurora area. Dave, I think the consensus is even if the snow is not in your area on Saturday, everybody's feeling the winds out of this, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's going to, because of the winds, because of how strong they are, I mean, still 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. Then you factor in the cold. It's going to be in the teens. That wind is going to make it feel much colder than that. So it's going to feel like it's in the negative teens at times, and it does not take long in those conditions for your face, for your hands, just to get numb.
All right, here
10,
we go.
15 minutes.
Rapid fire question. It's raining in Lockport. We appreciate that. When we do this during the storm, feel free to chime in with your input and tell us what you see in your backyard. How much snow for South Buffalo? I think we covered that, but let's go ahead and roll these snow totals around. The high impact zone. South Buffalo, you are in it. You're in that 30-inch mark there. How much in Clarence? I think we just showed you that on the map. You're in that 10 to 20. I've got to be honest, it's a healthy dose, and a lot of it is going to be going sideways. And when does it start to ice over? Delivering mail in Tonawanda. First of all, bravo. I'm surprised that the mail carriers go out in this. Now, I think it's rain nor sleet nor snow, but it says nothing about a blizzard in that phrase, does it?
No. There's just so much going on out there. You know, you got the snow, you've got the wind, you've got the seiche, you've got the lake waves, you got the flooding.
Yep.
This storm is going to give us a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we can talk about the lake. We can talk about everything. We're kind of letting your comments drive the bus. Thank you for hitting the share button. Smash it again. We've got a ton of more people that just walked in. All we ask is that you hit the like and the share so that other folks can come in, take a chair, and ask a question as well. All right, back to what we've got here. What is Saturday at 10 a.m. going to be like in Hamburg? Saturday at 10, David, want to go back and let's blow this up, bring the snow totals out, and let's re-rack this to the point at which this all starts. Let's get out of the way so that we can show Carol what's going on. The arrival time of this is tomorrow morning. The switch over for everybody is between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. You go from rain to snow, and then that's when the switch begins. If we're looking at Hamburg at 10 o'clock, you're in a burst of sloppy, slushy snow. It's going to accumulate about an inch or so, and then it's out of here until we start to see the lake effect snow begin. And Hamburg, you're not the target of the lake effect snow. David, roll this and show folks exactly when that lake effect goes. Maybe wide. Oh, there it is. Widen out a bit. Name some of the towns that are going to be worst affected as the lake effect starts.
Yeah, South Buffalo, Lackawanna, West Seneca, Lancaster. Those are going to be the areas that first are significantly impacted by this band of snow. And keep in mind, those winds, they're going to gust. I mean, once that front comes on through, it's literally going to go from 0 to 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts at times. Very poor visibility. So right around the lunch hour, again, the communities impacted: South Buffalo, Lackawanna. I know this is a popular route, the Thruway, 219, West Seneca, that interchange right there, the 400. Those are going to be the tricky spots. And this band, by the way, going to sit through lunch and dinner on top of these communities. I mean, it barely moves, Andy.
That's why
getting into Buffalo by dinner.
That's why you get these numbers. And John is in the house. I want to say hello to John. John, I was wondering if we were going to cross paths on this storm. Now, John gets to every weather event that happens from Watertown to Buffalo. And you did the Oswego stuff, so I thought we'd see out here, but I think the wind might be too much, John. If you find John's page, give him a follow. He has some of the best pictures. It's John Kutchko Digital. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. And that was a great tag on that element that you put for us. I appreciate that a lot. And again, once we're done with these storms, John, I told you we'd meet up and have a coffee and talk shop, but we'll do that absolutely. How much in Tonawanda? We've got the high impact zone for Tonawanda as well, at least for a portion of the day on Friday, because they're one of the ones that get going. You're in the 10 to 20 zone. You're not the center of attention, Tonawanda, but you're going to be right in there. Michelle wants to know about Niagara Falls, New York. It's apropos because look what's on the map. You're going to see the cutoff pretty quick. Grand Island is going to be harder hit than the Falls, and it's really going to be the South Grand Island Bridge versus the North Grand Island Bridge, and the South is going to win out, no doubt about it. We've got it on here. Is there a travel ban at 6 a.m. or state of emergency? I believe the state of emergency is in effect. I have not heard about travel bans yet. That is going to be coming. Karen says, who remembers the blizzard of 77? And there are a bunch of people that do, and the wind profile of this is similar, but what is not is the way the delivery of the snow. This is coming off the lake because of its lake effect. Last time it came because it was frozen. And it says, looks like Grand Island totals for snow have decreased from yesterday. I'm pretty sure we've yesterday we were only showing from Friday into Saturday morning. This now encompasses Sunday. So if the numbers look different from yesterday, it's because we've encompassed Saturday's snow as well. She tuned in. She missed about Tonawanda. We just helped her out. There you go, Kayla. No problem. And is there still a ban in West Seneca? Well, I do not know. We're not reporting on the bans in this room. We're just talking about snow totals in here. We appreciate that. Did not have this kind of warning back in 77. No, we did not. I do. It says I had a broken arm and you had to wait to go to the ER. Everybody's got a story about that. Let's talk about Eastern Hills Mall totals for Chad. Let's bring this in. And David, Eastern Hills Mall, that's going to fall into, is that the first stop on the map here? Should we freeze it for him?
That's around 990 area, right? Just Transit Road, Sheridan Drive.
Yeah,
correct? That's around 10
to
to 20.
You know, Chad, we're going to do you one better. I don't feel that we're zeroing into the spot that you live. So let's help him out by going even more local. Let's bring this in and literally bring him right over to where he lives. He's on the where is he off the Eastern Hills Mall? So you're going up Transit Road. Isn't that right in? We're getting closer. Clarence Center.
Is it Niagara Falls Boulevard, right? Or am I thinking? Mall.
I'm thinking it's off of Eastern Hills is off of Transit there.
Okay.
Right in here. So you're up in this area here. So you're about 20, you're in that 20 inch mark, man. Clarence, hello. You're gonna get hit. What about Lockport, Niagara County? We're gonna do the same thing up in here. We've got Lockport. Let's just keep going up Transit Road to Spill, and you can see that the numbers drop off. You're no longer 30s, but you're in a more manageable number because, again, this is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think Lockport, by what you were showing, David, Lockport gets its shot on Friday night and then maybe early Saturday morning. And after that, it starts going south. And there we go. This is emergency tree removal. If it comes down, I don't think anybody's coming, Ray. I think you're going to have to wait until the snow, till the winds die down. We just talked about Lockport. When does the snow start? Hey, David, I want you to rock through as we hit a couple of these questions here. Go ahead and just rock through the timeline as we knock these down. I want to catch up on a lot of these things. Boy, there's a lot of Tonawanda folks in the house. We have all of North Tonawanda in the house today, and I'm glad we're able to answer all your questions. I appreciate all the likes and shares that you folks have done. It is fantastic. There's so many people that just came in the room, and I'm going to pitch them as well. All we say is that hit the like, hit the share, and grab a chair, and we'll answer whatever questions you have. City of Lockport, I think we touched on that. We're covering it right now. Rick, we're sitting on top of it, and that is your Christmas Eve morning. You're getting hit there, and a lot of that is going sideways. 100%. Deanna says, breast forecast, I think. Thank you very much. Couldn't do it without David here as well. Dave provides a ton of the support, and he's got some awesome pictures as well. If you ever want to check his digital photography out, it is fantastic. You'll find him linked there as well. Lockport again and Niagara Falls. Hey, David, let's go and slide over to Niagara Falls. Look at the cutoff here. Remember we talked about Grand Island? It was the southern bridge versus the northern bridge, and once you hop over into the falls, there's that cutoff, Michelle, and you're going to see that occurs during the course of the day on Christmas Eve. What else do we have here? From Fredonia. How do you feel about sliding down the lake and taking a look at Chautauqua County? Because this was one that you and I were talking about just before we started. And Dunkirk is going to see some big numbers, and Fredonia as well. But you get to Mayville, and I think it cuts off pretty quick. And then in Elma, you've got this one for Ann. Let's go ahead and slide up the coast there and bring it into the South Towns for Ann and talk about what we've got going on down there. Which of the South Towns is going to be the cutoff point that you see in that one, David?
Yeah, South Towns. I mean, you have to re-rack it all the way to the start of this event, at least for the snow. And, right around lunch hour, again, South Buffalo, Lackawanna, West Seneca, those are going to be the areas that are significantly impacted. Elma is just on the edge of this band here, talking about Elma, Alden, Town Line, and you'll be in the thick of it for a little bit, but this is going to move northward during the night and overnight hours. So yeah, Elma, you're going to be getting some good snowfall out of this, as well as some drifting snow and some poor visibility there.
You got it. All right, Barker in the house. Let's go and see what's going on in Barker. We're halfway there. We'll just keep going as we slide up into Niagara County again and bring it into view. And there it is up on the right-hand corner of the screen. A lot of times the shoreline of Lake Ontario, we've had folks up near there say, hey, we've had green grass. When are we going to get some snow? You're probably in that 6 to 10 inch range. And a lot of that is going to occur, as David just pointed out, when that snow band comes and gets you during the course of the day on Christmas Eve. When will the visibility get better to drive in the North Towns? David, we're going back to the snow map. We're looking for some improvement in the North Towns from when this band is attacking with the snow and the wind. So I think it kind of gets going on Friday. And when do they see improvement in the North Towns?
Oh, well, you know what? It's interesting that you say that, because at the very start of this, you're going to see blowing snow, very gusty winds. And so the or at least the snow profile is going to be very light and fluffy. So it's not going to take much for the winds just to pick this up and put it on the roadways. But the band of snow, where the heavy snow is going to be south of the North Towns for much of Friday. Saturday morning is when the North Towns really start to be impacted by this snowfall here. You can see here on the map on Christmas Eve, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, slowly inching up here. I mean, it's still on top of the Buffalo metro area. And then this is the Skagakwana right here, all the way into the North Towns, Kenmore, just on the border here. So it's going to be Saturday morning that the North Towns are going to be more impacted with this ban compared to Friday.
All right, there we go.
That answers the question.
That's the answer to your question. We've got it there. Some folks watching in Florida. Hamburg looking at 10 a.m. on Saturday. You got 10 a.m. on Saturday. That's why I chose this one. Let's hop over to Hamburg, and this is going to be the razor's edge. The reason Hamburg, Orchard Park, Blaisdell, Lackawanna are in the snow zone is because they're going to be right there on the edge. Look at how it drops off once you go a little further inland to East Aurora there. So North Tonawanda is in the house. That is great. Family in Philly. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Everybody's in the room here. We're getting all the questions done. Will Santa make it? Dave, I'm going to bring this up. He's making it, and here's why. Lake effect snow, 10, 20,000 feet, right? That's how much it boils up. And Santa's flying. He's up there with the commercial airliners, maybe even a little higher. So Santa actually goes above the storm. He'll go above the blizzard, dive in, deliver, and get back out, right? So
he's going to save on gas too. I mean, he's just got to ride the wind, and
he'll have a tailwind. All right,
yeah.
Caitlin wants to know Sunset Bay. Big winds in Sunset Bay. Some of those could be between 60 and 70 miles an hour. We haven't really touched on the wind a lot. We're touching on the snow, but it's going to be a combo. Dave's going to take you into Sunset Bay, and we'll give you an idea of what it looks like when let's go from the start of things for when it switches to where that lake snow band is, if it's going to sit right on the edge over there at Sunset. We've got Jim, Samantha, Valerie, Adam, Jackie all coming up next, and GW wants to know about thunder snow as well. So we'll cover all of that.
Yeah,
Sunset Bay. There it is.
Sunset Bay is just going to be on the the southern edge of this, I would say
Yep.
you're gonna Sunset Bay at first is gonna be more impacted by the wind and the waves. I mean, the waves along the shorelines from Chautauqua County all the way up to Sturgeon Point, 10 to 12 feet
You
waves
got it.
for you folks up there.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
gonna be
it's gonna
big.
be the wind and the waves, and then Saturday is when you're gonna start to feel the impacts of the
Yeah.
lake effect snow band.
All right, we're going to the airport for Jim Chicktawaga. He's got a 6:00 flight, possibly one of the last flights getting out of Buffalo International before the switchover and the winds. Now you're going to be there. That switchover from rain to snow is going to happen pretty close to the 6-7 o'clock hour in the morning on Friday. And the winds aren't a huge factor at that time. But after you get to like 8, 9, 10, 11, the winds and the snow start to combine. So I think you've got a really good shot. You're going to be one of the last ones out on your way to Antarctica. So there we go. That's a big trip coming up. That's pretty cool. Someone said hurricane force winds. You got to get to 74 miles an hour before you're even playing in the same kind of ballpark as a hurricane. Tropical storm force winds all day long. But when it comes to hurricane, you've got to get up and over that 74 mile per hour mark, sustained winds, not just wind gust, but sustained winds. All right, let's go back and put the snow totals on the screen. We'll take on a bit of a tour here, and we'll start with, we'll go back into downtown Buffalo. And as this pops on, look at those big, fat, puffy 30s. That is some big numbers there, and that's going to keep rolling. And no blizzards in Erie, PA. You'll be wind blown in Erie with some snow, but I don't think you're going to get the same kind of duration needed for this. We've got Market in the Square open till 11 a.m. All right. If it is, they're just giving us the information. That's great. And will things improve on Christmas Day? Yes, they will. The winds start ratcheting down, which is great. But you can see that high impact zone is going to be the spot on the map that comes in off the lake. We're going up to the north towns. You can keep a look at some of those numbers. Dave, you want to touch on opportunity for thunder snow on this particular setup is not as great as it's been the past couple of storms.
No, you know when this started out in November, you had that huge difference in temperature between the lake and the air 5,000 to 10,000 feet aloft, and that's what really gets that lake effect band going. This time, yeah, you've got good instability, but not enough. So would I be surprised to hear a thunder or two? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely possible, but not to the extremity of what we, heard for the first event in November, just about a month ago.
What Dave is saying is don't go camp out waiting for thunder snow and these 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
It is not worth it. All right, we've got family coming in from Florida. Hopefully they get here before it hits. That is the case. If they're in before 8 a.m., they'll be okay. Here's another one. How will travel for north to south towns be on Christmas? You're going to have to drive through this. It does look like it's going to slide down a little closer to Dunkirk. So I think the north towns get a break on Christmas Day, but it's a long way before you get there. Put out some Christmas decorations, and those are probably going to be gone with the wind, you could say, no doubt about. When will the whiteouts start on Friday? Dave, we're coming back to this map because it's really when the lake effect gets going. And when you and I were looking at this, there's this initial slush that everybody gets from rain to snow, but the signature for lake effect looks like it's around noon to 3 that we start to see that really show up on the map.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the latest model run coming in right now. So I'm looking at it. The rain snow start is the same. So breakfast for everybody. You're starting to see that switch over from rain to snow showers. Then the wind begins to kick on up, the 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. And then here comes that band of snow. Anywhere where you see the darker blues here. So from Hamburg all the way up to Blaisdell, eventually into South Buffalo. This is going to be the areas that are significantly impacted by this band of snow. We're talking about very poor visibility, very tough, tricky travel. Definitely not recommended to be on the roadways here. So Buffalo, Depew, Lackawanna, West Seneca. This is on Friday evening. This is where that band is going to be. And throughout the evening and overnight hours, Andy, this is going to slowly begin to drift northward through still in the Buffalo area into Williamsville and Clarence, and eventually the north towns during the morning. That's when you folks are going to be impacted by this.
Thank you very much, David. We've got another one here. Someone saying that these tops open at 6 a.m. If you need to make that last run, get there, get it done. If you can get in at 6 a.m., you're doing it in rain. If you wait till 10, you're doing it in slush. What's it going to be like Saturday after the Bills game? Can we widen the map out a little bit, and let's look at Saturday at around 3 in the afternoon and see what's happening? And you can tell that those maps have updated. So this is the fresh data, the latest information. You don't have to wait until 11 o'clock to see it. We've got it locked and loaded, setting you up with what to expect. So 320, 420, look at that. There's that band as it's coming through Buffalo, Depew, Akron along the thruway. The 190, Sloan, West Seneca is in there. I believe is the stadium is in there as well.
Yeah, thankfully the Bills aren't playing in Orchard Park. They're playing in Chicago, but it is going to be cold. I mean, that is some frigid weather. You think it's cold here, go out to the Windy City, Soldier Field. It is going to be freezing out there.
I wanted to cue the cart, that dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun, so that's what it needs. This is like, to me, this is an old school football game where you've got you're going to have the linemen lining up against each other, helmet to helmet. And you can see as they're warm in the inside and they're exhaling into 8-degree weather. You have the dirt at Soldier Field will be the frozen dirt. And if you've ever played football on that frozen dirt, landing on it, running on it, it's a whole nother animal. So happy to do it. But that's what you're looking at. How far north does that go? Because the winds on Saturday in the afternoon are still no walk in the park. We're still 45, 50 miles an hour. This is going all the way to Medina, the shoreline of Lake Ontario, probably knocking on Rochester's door as well, right? Albion, Brockport,
Lyndonville, Medina, Albion, shorelines up here in Orleans County. There's Barker, by the way.
You got it. That's cool. Still doing this. Hey, a quick thing. I just looked over. Unlike television, we can actually see you folks as well. We can see your comments. We can see your coming in. We have people on Twitter. We have people on Facebook. We have people on YouTube. All we ask is that you hit the share button so that we can keep doing this for as many people as possible. Come in, get the information you need, and then we're happy to serve you as long as you guys want to eat at the Weather Restaurant, if you will. How bad is Hamburg and Orchard Park going to get it? Well, pretty bad, because when you look at the numbers here, we'll slide down into some of those communities in a moment. But the city of Buffalo, where we were just showing you that target, that bullseye, those are the numbers there. That's Friday night, Saturday, and when it wraps up on Sunday. And so here's some of those south towns. You wanted to know, how bad will Hamburg and Orchard Park get it? Well, there you can go, right in here. There's the triangle for the stadium. You move inland to East Aurora, the numbers start dropping off there, and that's what you've got. We've got rain all evening. Yeah, this is not the storm. It's still working its way in. Hamburg Beach, you're in there as well. I would say you're at the snow zone. And Bill says he's got work tomorrow at 5 a.m. When would be a good time to leave to get home to drive Williamsville to Cheektowaga? Williamsville to Cheektowaga. You don't want to wait too long, because I think if we go back to this map in the afternoon hours, let me pull you off of there, Bill. Good question. 10, 11, we said noon to 3 is when that band starts up. And if you can be where you want to be between noon and 3, find your way home, because that's when it starts. Those winds are going to be no joke. Not at all. We haven't seen 50 to 60 mile an hour winds combined with snow in a while. Freedom, can we slide out to Wyoming County and northern Allegheny County and show them, because you're not getting snow. And I don't mind this view, because these are the people who are least affected by the snow. You have the wind, but you don't have the snow, and it doesn't come down there until later in the weekend, and even then, you're not gonna get crushed by this at all. What do we have here? Sliding down. The Grinch is he still coming? This says Steel Christmas. I've got a great picture of the Grinch in my neighborhood. It's one of those inflatables. It was still up today, and the thing was bouncing sideways and all that. Hey, we've got a help out guy, David.
Okay.
Guy's a snowplow operator. His area of concern is just north of the thruway near the 990. He's a Williamsville kind of Main Street Clarence guy. He wants to try to plow the slush out of here. So let's give him an opportunity to see when this switches over and what happens. So can we re-rack this to the moment? Because he's got blades he wants to go run and clear the slush. So the switch to snow for them near the airport area in Akron, between Depew and Akron, right in there. Let's roll this through time. Give them an idea when that starts.
Yeah, it's going to be breakfast hour. So between 7 and 9 o'clock, this is when the switchover happens.
What's his duration for the slush?
The slush?
Yep.
So switchover is 9 o'clock, 10, 11. So you're still getting snow up in that area through lunch.
All right, but that's now the lake effect kicking on. So in between there, you're going to have the winds that pick up, but you'll have time. You have a couple hours to get rid of the slush before the lake effect goes. Take this to like 2 o'clock, and when you can really see the band. And then you got to have your trucks out of there, because now you're going to have reduced visibilities the further you go into the day. So it looks like you've got your window there. Melissa wants to know about a flash freeze. Can they drive at 7 or 8 a.m.? Hey, Melissa, it's a good question. We haven't put this graphic up in a minute. Let's bring this one up. Dave, I'll give you a chance to re-rack that one. This is what happens to Friday. The flash freeze is 10 to noon as those temperatures really plummet into the 20s, and then it goes into the teens. It won't take that long, a couple hours with that wind, for it to flash freeze. The snow showers continue, but then the lake effect kicks on. That's when those big winds come in, and everybody's concerned to get this thing done. That is awesome. Here we go. This one out on the end of Ontario. Watertown, I think, is going to get bigger numbers than here. Believe that. Snow total for Silver Creek. Shall we do that? Let's go ahead and bring this in for Caitlin. She wanted to know about what's going on the lakeshore there. Dave, why don't you grab a couple of the questions on the right rail that you'd like to hit while I go ahead and bring this snow total in for Caitlin. As we slide down, I'll give you the look at the numbers as well. You can see the bullseye here in the city. That gets up to 30 inches of snow, and it is not going to be evenly distributed. All of this through West Seneca, Blaisdell, Hamburg. Those are your numbers as we work our way a little bit further down. Sturgeon Point, smashed by snow and wind all day long. You know they're closing the thruway. It's just a matter of that. There it is. Silver Creek, I think we were stopping. You're in that 20 to 30 inch mark, Caitlin, in Silver Creek. Dave, you have some questions? Pop them on the screen. Take them out.
Yeah, Debbie, I know there's been a bunch of people in the Lakeview area. They want to know about Lakeview. How much snow in their backyard? So that's just about north of Evans.
Yeah, we'll work our way back
right
over
in
there.
The shoreline here towards Hamburg.
There you go.
So
they're in the snow zone.
Yeah. Yeah, snow zone, wind zone, cold zone. It's
all right. Who's next?
It's the whole package. Let's see. We got Niagara County wants to know. Rhiannon wants to know about Niagara County.
All right, we got it. Let's go up to Niagara County. We'll bring this back, and you can see that you're through the center of this, and now you're into Niagara County. The least amount of snow right up here, Fort Niagara, is probably, I would say it's a 4 to 8, and really more like a 4. You're right on the edge of that cutoff, and then it increases. I think you'll do some shoveling in Wheatfield, and really it's. Man, that is going to jump so quickly from where you've got less, single digits to double digits in portions of Niagara County, and the shoreline of Lake Ontario will get some as well. Next up, David.
We've got Melissa. She wants to see Williamsville Saturday evening.
Saturday evening, the snow band map. I think she's referring to the map that we're generating the location. So let me go ahead and I'll bring it back on, and we can work that for her. She's looking to go Williamsville through Saturday evening.
Yep, I am running through time right now. So Saturday evening, this is the dinner hour, Christmas Eve. And you can see this is Williamsville, this is Amherst. And yeah, you're going to be in the thick of it right here. This is where that band is. This is where the darker blues, that's where the most intense snow is falling. Not only are you going to see heavy snow, you're going to see gusty winds, still gusting, by the way, up to 50 miles an hour. So not as strong as Friday night. Friday night is the big win. Friday night is 60 to 70 mile an hour gust. Saturday, Williamsville, yes, significantly impacted by this band of snow.
All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and catch up to a couple more of these comments in here. I thought I saw one. What the timing of this for the worst winds on the Chautauqua Ridge? How high do you think they'll be? As we talk about the winds, everybody's going to kind of receive the same timing. It's Friday night from 6 p.m. Friday through about 6 a.m. Saturday. That's where you're going to see those big ones. Driving Saturday night. It's all going to depend on whether or not they're going to let people on the roads. I think we're going to find some communities throwing some road closures or travel advisories, maybe some bans. I think it's going to be very tricky. Hamburg is looking at 30 inches. Yes, that was the number that we had on the map. Let's go ahead and put this back on the screen. And you're right in there. That's the snow zone. We'll back it up just a touch. Well, we'll just let it play through and catch up on it. You can see portions of the southern tier not getting there. Bills, I didn't hear if they got there. They left today, I believe.
I definitely saw somebody take video of the airplane that they were on, leaving the Buffalo airport.
Yep, you got it. Timeline for the highest winds. There it is. It's going to come in Friday evening and then continue on Saturday. That's what Saturday is going to look like, folks. You've got all of that going on there. And there we go. Damaging wind. Switch gears. What's the max gust and when is the worst for Amherst near the Dent Tower? I think we're talking about the same thing. It's going to be Friday evening. I really think it's 6 to midnight. I think for some reason, looking at everything, are you in agreement on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just gonna, once that cold front moves on through, the next cold front, that's gonna bump up the levels or the winds, significantly to, close to 70 miles an hour towards the shoreline of Lake Erie and into the Niagara frontier.
All right. What time does Cheektowaga need to be hunkered down? And so let's go ahead and bring this one back on right there. And if we look at Friday, do you have a hunker down time? Like you better get out of the roads because in the morning it's rain and then you've got the slush. The winds really kick up at noon. I'm going to say get it done by noon to 3. I think once that lake effect kicks in, that's when visibility drops, and that's it.
Yep.
There you go. Noon to 3. Traveling Tonawanda to Hamburg on Christmas Day. Will it be possible? It looks like it's going to be to the south of Tonawanda. And Hamburg may still be in the snow a little bit on Christmas Day. It depends on what time, whether you're like a morning thing, an afternoon thing. And this is what we've got here. So we're looking to compare this to 77. The lake was frozen in 77. I'm bringing this up, Dave, real quick to touch on this one. We'll take about 10 seconds on this. Everybody wants to know the wind had about the same speed, but I believe 77 was a 3-day wind event like that. The winds were unprecedented. And of course, the lake was frozen. And the interesting part of that was that's where the snow came from.
Yeah, I mean, you had, feet of snow on the lake. You had ice on the lake. This time, you don't have any ice. You don't have any snow on the lake. So you don't have that blowing and drifting snow. This is more of a lake effect event compared to the blizzard of 77. So it's going to be an actual lake effect snowstorm dropping all that snow compared to the blizzard of 77.
Yeah, you got it. Those 30s just look crazy, but it's just going to be going sideways there. What can you expect for Dunkirk, Brandy? Let's take a look at it for you here. How's Christmas Day looking? I think Christmas Day could be pretty snowy down there in Dunkirk. You might have the best opportunity to pick some snow up there. I think it gets stolen from the north towns on Sunday, but you're in that 20 to 30. You go south towards Ripley and it drops off a little bit there. While we're down here, let's talk about Forestville. You're going to get some snow in Forestville. You're in the snow zone, at least in the portion of Chautauqua County. You go inland and it's not that bad. Cindy wants to know, is it going to be bad on Christmas? I hate the word bad. I don't mind that you use it. Everybody does. But bad means different things to different people. I think if you're in the north towns on Christmas, it's actually going to be better than it was on Saturday. Some improvement there. How much in Niagara County? I think we already talked about that, but we'll go back and do it for you again. You're in the high impact zone in Erie County. Southern Niagara County is going to get their fair share as well, and it drops off very quickly up towards Lewiston and Youngstown. Wilson, we've got you in the house as well. You're definitely on the low end of the snow stick, but I think you still have an opportunity to get some there as well. Raining in Williamsville. Went out and covered the patio. It's windy, but not bad. The winds don't get you until the morning hours. And here's the timeline. It's as you're having breakfast. If you're up at 6 a.m., you will know it when this thing comes through, David, right? When this arrives, it's not just a very polite passing, but this comes with a couple of different components, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna hear it. The winds are gonna howl, and we've already been through a couple of wind events and already some very impactful lake effect snow events. But here we go again within a month, and this is going to be the strongest wind event that we have for the season. No question about it. Starting to gusts over 50 miles an hour right around the lunch hour, then into the evening. That's when nature really ramps things up in the gust department. 60-mile to 70-mile-an-hour gusts out there for the shorelines of Lake Erie and all the way up to the Niagara frontier. So yeah, hold on to your hats. And by the way, just bring in the inflatables. I know there's still a lot of Christmas decorations out there, the inflatable snowmen, but it won't take much. Yeah, it will not take much for the wind. Once you get past 60-mile-an-hour gusts, not going to take much for that to hit you right on the Polar Express. So bring them in.
You got it. Mary, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it. We love to do this, give the personalized questions and answers. And everybody who's in the room right now, go ahead and if you can give us a like and a share. The share is a big deal because what that does is it opens this up. Facebook says, all right, folks are looking to get this information. We can get it out to as many as we can. Niagara Falls, you're outside of the high impact zone when it comes to snow totals, but you will be impacted by the winds. Everybody has that. And we held it on there in Niagara Falls. You can see how Grand Island, the colors change a little bit. The South Grand Island Bridge, I want to see some snow totals between South Grand Island and North Grand Island. That's going to be an interesting one. Raining in NT right now. How much will Niagara Falls get? We've got a lot of folks up in Niagara Falls wondering what's going on. Here's another one from Niagara Falls. Sally is up there as well. Niagara County dominating the conversation right now, but if you're somewhere else and you want to get in on this, just put something on the comments and we're happy to dig in for you. We've got another one here. This one it says Grand Island for the evening hours. Lackawanna is definitely in the snow zone. Keep watching, Lackawanna. We're going to bring it right into your zone here in a moment. I'm going to freeze it there, pull this off, and you can see you're right at the bottom of the screen. You are squarely in the snow zone. And you're going to get some huge drifts with a regular snowstorm, Angela. What a great profile picture. You're going to get some huge drifts in this one. Will the snow totals be limited? It will be. I think the consensus is on Friday evening, they may be limited. But as we get into the day on Saturday, I think the instability takes over, and I think we're going to see the big totals come in there. And the reason you see 30s on the screen is because of the type of snow, right, David? This is not heavy, wet packing snow.
No, this is not snowman snow. This is light, fluffy, that Hallmark kind of fluff snow that you see in the Hallmark movies. That's going to be what that kind of snow is. And it's light, it's fluffy. It's going to be very easy for that wind just to pick it up and blow it sideways onto the roads, onto houses, buildings. So we're going to see some impressive drifts out of this.
That's right. City of Tonawanda, these totals run from Friday to Sunday. Hey, David, I want to go back to this map, the one that's on your machine. We're going to focus on the airport. At the time, let's go back to when it goes from rain to snow, and then we're going to talk the snow total at the airport and when visibility starts to become a factor. And it looks like what they need to land a plane is 250 feet between when they pop out of the clouds and when they touchdown on the runway. So they've got to have that, number one. Number two, they've got to be able to have the visibility to take off. And I believe it was something around 1,800 square feet. So if the pilot can't see the runway in front of them, it is a no-go gate hold. That plane doesn't take off. If they pop out of the clouds and they don't have 250 feet, they will go back. And they will not perform a landing on there. The crosswinds are the big deal for them, and it does look like they could take off into 50-mile-an-hour gusts as long as it's going right into it. So there's some data. Dave, take us through the changeover at the airport.
Yeah, it's going to happen right around the breakfast hour. So here we go. We're going to put it into motion. So 6, 7 o'clock, still rain. get into right around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Here's that switch over. You see the green go to blue, and you're going to get some pockets of heavy snow during this time frame, and it's going to keep going through the lunch hour. And then, Andy, you start to see that band of lake snow begin to fire on up, as well as the winds gusting over 50 miles an hour just past lunch here.
Yeah, two things are going to happen. You're going to stop getting airplanes coming to Buffalo because they don't want their planes to be stuck here. So they're going to stop coming in when they feel they don't have enough time to turn it around and get it out. Commercial airlines are notorious for erring on the side of caution, and they don't want their equipment trapped here indefinitely for Saturday as well. We talked about Chad for the airport. This I kind of chuckled. Sid wants to know, what about the Saturday commute? I've got to laugh. I don't think there's going to be a Saturday commute in the morning hours. I think we're going to see a lot of these roads kind of locked down. I don't think folks are going to be able to travel much. But let's widen this out on Saturday morning, because outside of the lake snow band on Saturday, this is now Friday, so it's going to narrow by. The snow, the general snowfall is gone. You've got this lake effect band, but Springville, Olean, Hornell, those folks are moving about the county. But anything along the lake shore inside that band is going to be just an absolute mess. So I don't know. Driving bans, I don't believe we have them now. I know they're on the table. It's being discussed. And when you look at the weather factors associated with this, they've closed the thruway for less impact than this. And look at the impact that could have all the way from Dunkirk to Pembroke. So I think a huge chunk of the thruway is destined for closure, and it will probably begin at some point during the day on Friday and can encompass Saturday as well. Bemis Point, would you like to take us there, David? How close is this going to be to Bemis Point in Chautauqua Lake?
Yeah, it's not going to be a Bemis Point event on Friday and much as Saturday, but watch what happens. Christmas Eve, here goes 3, 4, 5. You start to see that band shift on south. Bemis Point is right here along Chautauqua Lake. You can see I-86. You're not really going to get into thick of things really for much of this event. Late Christmas Eve, you'll start to see some flakes flying down there on Chautauqua Lake and just on the border here, Jamestown, Lakewood. So that's going to be your window, just late Christmas Eve. But just to go back to the airport, by the way, I was looking at statistics today on flight cancellations across the entire country on FlightAware.com. So this system that's going to be bringing the snow and winds to Western New York, it's impacting not just Western New York, but a huge swath of the nation. And about 5,000, 6,000 flights were canceled today within the U.S. So that is a significant amount, certainly a nightmare out there for travelers, not just here, but across the U.S.
That it is. All right, here we go. We're talking about how much will Springville get? Well, hold on. We'll slide on there right now. This will kind of update everybody. Again, the bullseye, the snow zone, the highest area of impact is right on the screen. We'll pull Springville in here. You're going to get a second look at it. You can see you're outside of the snow zone. That's where Blaisdell and Hamburg live. And then you go a little further south. That's where you guys are, but it doesn't look like you're a direct hit at all. You should be okay. I had 2 West Seneca comments in here. Here it is. When West Seneca is going to be ugly. West Seneca is pretty, number one. It's a gorgeous area, so I'm just joking about that. But it will be ugly in West Seneca on Saturday as well. And I know we had another one here. This one was traveling between 7 a.m. in West Seneca. Will it be bad? No. I think you're doing good there. The winds will pick up. You're going to go from rain to snow, but that's how it's going to work out. We've got a lot of other ones in here. Patty says, I remember 77. David, what's up?
Hey, I got a question for you. I'm going to pop him on the screen. It's Mr. Christmas, Matt Walfred. He wants to know on the Jimmy Griffin scale, how many beers? And
wow.
We're going to say, what, a keg?
I would say for this. Yeah. We're coming back. We haven't shared a screen. Look at this. Look at these 3 gentlemen. We haven't shared a screen together in a long time. Matt was our producer, our director for a while, and playoff football guru. So this one on the Jimmy Griffin scale, it's more than a 6-pack. It's more than a case. It's a case and a second case, a just in case for this one. So Matt, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, and by the way, it was the blizzard of 1985.
85.
Griffin said those comments.
That's where that came from, yes.
Yeah.
And it was Jimmy Griffin. He was the politician that came up with that. He owns it.
Yeah.
Do we anticipate travel bans coming up? We talked about that. It's in the works. A lot of the police agencies and governmental agencies are aware of this. I think they're just looking for the squaring away the timing, maybe coordinating the effort. You don't want to have one community do it and not the other one. Carl's in the house, and he said he drove through it in a 1965 Thunderbird that he got for $50. That's a deal, number one. $50 for a Thunderbird, but then taking it out in the blizzard to 77. Bold move, Carl. Bold move. Yeah, what do we got here? Let's see another one here. It says, oh, good evening. Merry Christmas to you. Great to have you along. We'll be doing this throughout the weekend as well. Snowfall in Marilla. We've been on this map a while. Marilla's on this map as well, kind of east of East Aurora. You're in the 10 to 20 range. I know it sounds like a big range, but reality, that's how it is. You could be sitting at 20 at East Aurora, and then once you get out to Attica, Wyoming, you're dropping off the double digits and you're going. Working, when is it? The question here is 8 p.m. on Friday in East Aurora. David, we're going to this map. Give me 8 p.m. in East Aurora, and we're going to help Mary Jo out here and see what she's got here. And Susan, by the way, said 77 was nuts.
Just on the fringe here.
Yeah. Why don't we rock this? Take it to 6 and go to 10, just to give her an idea of what's happening there, how close the meteorological razor's edge that is. Keep in mind, the winds are howling on this one. And I believe she was looking, Friday at 8 p.m. You've got 60-mile-an-hour winds. Its visibilities are going to be terrible anywhere within those blues. It is going to be ugly. The wind ranges, we talked about that. The wind range is from 55 to 65 for everybody, not just one or two counties. That is it. It's everybody's in the same boat on this one. We're going to keep going down here. I think we had a couple of these. Holland was another one that was there. Holland, we can throw you in this one. Happy to do it for you. And when it comes to totals down there, if we pop this in, I don't think this is moving. Is it going to go? Oh, it moved down from Holland. Let's go back, get Holland back. My friends in Tulip Country over there, always love to get up there. Let's see if it'll come back. There it goes. I clicked it one too many times and freeze. Look at that. Holland's right on the map. So East Aurora is probably closer to the 20 mark, and then you're sliding down, and you're going to be double digits and dropping off there totally. We talked about Mayville, Orchard Park by the stadium. There's the stadium right in there, that triangle underneath the 3 on the 30. You're getting hit pretty good there. Will Cheektowaga get this all weekend? It is going to be, you're in the snow zone. You're going to have it through the day Friday into Saturday, and then it will slowly sink to the south. Let's go to the north. David, Middleport, let's talk about timing. And will this snow band reach Middleport for Judy and friends up in Niagara County? Friday, we talked about everybody gets a couple inches of sloppy snow early in the morning as the changeover happens. And then this is when lake effect kicks on. And will it get Middleport?
Oh, sorry. I just went to the,
No,
you know what? Again, so for the breakfast hour, yeah, switch over from rain to snow, winds kick up. Middleport, you're going to be getting some snow during the afternoon, but it's not the lake effect snow. But keep in mind, you're getting those gusty winds. You're going to get very poor visibility. Those winds on the fields of Niagara County, I know there's a lot of farms up there. It's just going to take the snow, whatever's been covered, onto the farms and then drift them onto the roads. So it's going to be slick travel up there in Middleport. But as far as the band goes, Niagara County, you're not going to see that band until late Christmas or early Christmas Eve morning into the afternoon.
All right, here we go. I've got one for Jennifer. She's one of our neighbors here in Orchard Park. Our kids hang out together. She's one of the medical workers, needs to get to Sisters tomorrow from 7 in the morning, working that 12-hour shift, getting out at 7 at night. I don't envy getting out at 7 at night from Sisters Hospital on the 23rd. So if we crank it there, that could be a really messy ride home from Sisters. You're up a little further north. You're coming off of the 33, the 198. you're probably going to have to cross right through the middle of this. Unfortunately, that's not great. Do our maps have wiggle room is the question. Yes, a wiggle room to the degree that it's maybe a community or two, but not a wholesale change. These maps are starting to lock in, and we're really feeling very confident. If we weren't confident in an element of this, number one, we would let you know. Number two, we'd probably not address it with certainty, like we're doing with a lot of these things here. So that's kind of where that's the way that we approach it, where when we have a certainty, that's what we communicate. And then when there's an uncertainty, we will then let you know that, but not mislead you. That's it. So people have the questions, Andy. We've got the answers. We're happy to be dispensing that. How many hours will the winds be horrible? I love it. It's a horrible wind. Wind is my least favorite thing, and it looks like it's going to be from about 50 miles an hour from noon. So the big gusts are 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on your Saturday, and that's what we've got here. So that's what we're working with. It's not a pretty picture when it comes to that. Got to travel into work for West Seneca on Sunday evening. That is going to be, I don't know where you're going from or to, but you're probably going to have to drive through it. This may be south of West Seneca Sunday evening. That's the uncertainty we have. You're going that far out, the end of this event. It'll be a little tricky to get there. First responders, he's like, it's not going to be a good time. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to see some stuff, and that's unfortunate. We hopefully we don't get a lot of people off the roads. Do we have a map that shows the tightness of the isobars? You know what? We don't have that isobaric map, but what we can do is pull something up here. It'll be an interesting map. I'll bring it back. We haven't showed this since we really began, and it's what the storm looks like right now on a scale where you can see it cutting across the country. When Dave and I were talking about this, we said it was a fairly unimpressive, at least I did. You know, I said it was a fairly unimpressive storm. I think you were still saying, no, there's something to it. Waiting to bring it in here when it pops on the map. Where is it? There it is. All right, let's do this. Where is that one? Right here. There it is. Bring it on. And for Peter, this is it was there a moment ago. It really was. I had it. I think it's loading or something. There it goes. If I would just let it sit for a moment, it'd probably pop right on. Meanwhile, people are like, all right, what are we waiting for this map for? What we can do on this map is kind of put the obs on here, and you can see the temperatures. You're going from 37 in Buffalo. Look at Detroit. That's one where you're going from 30s to 20s to teens. They're playing that game in Chicago, and you can see the numbers in Chicago. It's -9 in portions of Wisconsin over there already. Wow. -9. That's special. That is something else. All right, let's go back and talk about Orleans County here. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., he has to finish the shopping in Orleans. What's going on in Orleans at 7 a.m.? I believe we're still rain at 7 a.m.
Yeah, there you go. You're still rain. Switched over 9-ish for Orleans County. So between 8 and 10. Is when you can see the switch over from rain to snow.
All right, there it is. Rain to snow, the switch over. We've got a plow question here. The plows in the North Towns will be put to the test. They have a hard time keeping up with a heavy 1 to 3. How about rates of that with 40 to 70 mile an hour winds? It is going to be tough. I mean, I think they're just going to wait it out. If you can't see, you can't plow. How about near Pendleton? Let's look at Pendleton. Slide to the left of Lockport and bring it on over there. See what Pendleton is doing tomorrow. I think that they're going to end up, I don't remember if they're on the edge of the band, out of the band, the snow band, or what's the story with Pendleton.
Slowly, I mean, for tomorrow, for the most part, on the 23rd, Pendleton is looking on the outside in. It's really late Christmas, it's really late Friday into Saturday. That's your time for Pendleton, for that band to be in your backyard.
All right, there we go. Atoll Springs, 7 to noon on Friday. Drop a little bit south of there, and let's fill
Yeah.
David in on what's going on in Atoll Springs.
Yeah, and this is from 7 a.m. to noon on Friday, so we can move this back here right around here. So the switchover again is between 7 and 9 o'clock here. You see the green go to blue by 9 across Hamburg and much of the South towns, and then that band fires up right around lunch here. So that is going to be your window right there. So 7 o'clock in the morning, that's when it's going to be raining, and then the switchover happening right around 8 o'clock.
All right, Julie wants to know, when will Cheektowaga get hit? And it looks like you get hit with some slush in the morning hours there. And then watch this, Julie. You are in the snow zone, babe. Watch as this lake effect band covers Cheektowaga for a time on Christmas Eve morning at 3:30. Keep in mind, you've got the biggest winds coming through, roaring through at that hour, and it is going to be going sideways, torn apart. It's a narrower band at that point. It runs from Kenmore to West Seneca. And again, the South Grand Island Bridge in and out of the snow zone at that point. This is what it looks like right now. This was that map that I was trying to do. Just had to do a quick reset. Everybody keeps saying it was raining hard up there in Niagara County. It was. Look at this. That was some heavy rain just a few minutes ago north of the Thruway. It's moving pretty quick, and it's out of there, but there it is. No lightning strikes, but man, in the city of Buffalo is wet now as well. That's why we said tomorrow morning with that flash freeze, going to be an interesting situation because all these puddles, all the slush is going to start converting, and you can see the rest of this storm is off to the west. It's going to hit Cincinnati at midnight, Columbus at midnight, Detroit is about that as well, and it arrives here at 7 in the morning. And I think you can see the numbers on this. I'm just going to bring this over a little more. We go from the 39 at Detroit to the 20s to the teens to -8. They're playing a football game out there, and it's going to be legit cold. A daytime temperature of 8, feeling like a lot colder than that. All right, Newfane. A question mark for Newfane, and says, well, how much snow are we going to get up there? Let's go ahead and bring this back. We can bring the impact zone on first and show you that as you slide up to Newfane, north of Lockport there, I don't think you're in the huge numbers. Does that lake effect band make it to Newfane, David, at some point in time? They're due north of Lockport. Let's bring it on the screen and find out for Christine. I think you're going to be in and out of the snow. You'll get a few inches on Friday as it gets going. And then here's you almost said New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve.
I mean, this is as far north as the band goes on Christmas Eve. So a couple of flakes out there, but you're not in the heaviest of snowfall. So, I mean, Newfane, Olcott, by the way, gorgeous area in Olcott and Wilson. Love visiting up there in the Niagara shoreline there, but you're not going to be in the thick of things. You're going to get the wind, absolutely, but not the heavy lake snow.
All right, let's go Albion. And while we're up there, give a look at what's happening in Albion. See what I think she's looking for a total, but why don't we let her know when Albion is in and out? Albion might outperform Newfane when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and look at the cutoff here. This is Christmas Eve morning. Albion, Medina, I mean, just on the edge from Middleport, 31A. Just on the edge. And this band, by the way, extends all the way up towards the shorelines of Orleans County, even getting into the Rochester area at times. I mean, this is going to be, whenever you have strong winds like this, I mean, this is going to carry that band. It's going to stretch it, you know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be impressive to see.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look at this. I want to show you a quick map here because this will be an interesting one. Where is it here? So this is the snow map for us, but watch this. You want to talk about the snow zone? Look at this all the way down to, it's right into Atlanta. Is that Alabama involved in that as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the wide view of all the watches and warnings and advisories across the entire U.S., those stretch all the way into the southeast. I mean, they've got wind chill advisories, they've got winter storm warnings up towards Chicago. I mean, it looks like the entire state of Michigan is under the gun for some snowfall, not just from the system
Nashville.
itself, but up to that lake effect band. Once those winds shift over, they're going to
Yep.
get some lake effect snow up there too. So a lot of areas across the entire US are going to be significantly impacted by this system over the next couple of days.
Yep, those are the numbers there. Williamsville, she's wanting a number in Williamsville. Let's take her up north. I'll do this for you really quick. And it's going to be just to the north of the Thruway along Main Street. And don't be shocked, but you're in the snow zone. You're in play, Williamsville. Those are pretty big numbers. You've got a foot and maybe even a touch more. How big these snow drifts will be, I know, 30 inches of snow. Do the math on that one. 65 miles an hour, 30 inches of snow. You know what's happening there. Tua warned us about the Alabama snow. He knows snow. That's right. All right, just came in. Tracy, she wants a general recap for NT and the North Towns. David, let's go take her through time. 1, 2, 3, bring it on in from the changeover to the lake effect, and then I'll throw some totals up there for the North Towns. I know we've got a bunch of people in the house. Jennifer and Cassadaga, we're coming for you. Derby as well. Black Rock will touch it all and get to the South Towns again.
Yeah. Do you want me to go wide on this, or do you want me to keep it close?
Well, let's keep it close on the Tonawandas and Niagara County it is. And then we'll deal with the South Towns on a focused point as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the switchover time early Friday morning from rain to snow. So everybody's getting rain early morning, just pre-dawn, 6 a.m. Then we get into 8, 9 o'clock. That's when that switchover happens. You can see the green turn to blue. And then everybody's getting snow right around 10 o'clock in the morning. Once we go past lunch, 12 o'clock, this is when that wind is going to ramp on up. You still see North Tonawanda, Kenmore still getting that snow, but right around 12 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when that band of snow off of Lake Erie really begins to fire on up. North Tonawanda in the North Towns Day, you're still seeing some gusty winds out there, not so much in the snow factor or in the snow zone. That band is still south, but keep in mind, whatever accumulated onto the grass, onto the ditches, the sidewalks, that's going to be accumulating onto the road. So you're going to be seeing some tricky travel with those gusty winds over 50 miles an hour during the afternoon. Going into the evening, band begins to shift further north here into Buffalo. Still, the Tonawandas, Kenmore, areas around 990, the 290. That band is still south of you folks, but the winds begin to gust over 60 miles an hour here. Finally, if you want to know when the snow comes into your backyard, or at least the heavy snow, not going to be until Christmas Eve morning. You see, this is 5:30, 6 o'clock. This is when the heavy snow is going to be into the Tonawandas, Kenmore, 990, UB. Those are going to be the regions, the towns, the cities significantly impacted by the snow.
All right, let's talk totals. Let's bring it in here. We're talking exclusively in Niagara County, and we've got a bunch of spots up here. Somebody wanted to know about Niagara Falls. We had Tonawanda. We're going to touch them all. So if you're in North Tonawanda and the Tonawandas, you're in the double digits. That's what you need to know. That's a pretty big number. The further you go up here to Youngstown, you're really dropping off, probably in that maybe the 4 to 6 inch mark. And we talked about Newfane being a lot less than our friends over here in Medina. I think you're double digits all the way up to Lyndonville, courtesy of that snow band kind of sitting still there. You get into some of the closer north towns inside the 290, and that's when the numbers get up pretty hefty. So that's what we've got going on there. Let's go ahead and switch to the south towns, because there was a question about Hamburg. Tell me about Hamburg. So I'm happy to do it for you, because a lot of people want to know what is going on in their yard. Trying to drive through this, David, is going to be extremely difficult. There's the bullseye from Buffalo out to Cheektowaga, Depew, the airport. You can see Elma involved in there to a certain degree. Along the lakeshore, it hugs the thruway. The further inland you go, the less impacted you are by the snow total, but you'll still have the blowing snow. You're going to get the wind. It's not contained within just one spot. This wind field is going to cover the entire area. And as we bring it a little bit further south, out of the south towns into the southern tier, this is when you get the sense that it's really close to the shoreline. That's why the numbers near the shoreline are really jump as much as they do. But I think if you take away the takeaway here, David, is that the shoreline by Dunkirk is going to be close enough. They will be impacted at multiple times, where areas inland, the snow that you get here is not lake effect. This is going to be from what falls on Friday.
Yeah, and keep in mind the areas along the shorelines, Dunkirk, Ripley, all the way to Barcelona Harbor. I know they're out there in Chautauqua County, where you would get on the road to Mayville and the Chautauqua Lake area. I mean,
Yep.
the areas along the shoreline, you're going to be getting some significant wind, some flooding, very a good sage out of this too. So it's not going to be just for Dunkirk, but up to Sturgeon Point, all the way up to Hamburg, Hoover Beach. I know those folks are usually significantly impacted by events like this. And then, even Canal Side up in Buffalo, all that water is just going to pour into the Buffalo River. And, it's going to create some issues out there. So we're talking about snow. We're talking about wind. We're talking about flooding. I mean, this is going to be the complete package compared to the past two events when a lot of it was just snow. Now you're getting wind, you're getting snow, you're getting a really, really significant station, some very big waves out of this too.
All right, Gowanda, Perrysburg, right in there. The closer you are to the lake, the closer you are to that big number. It'll drop off significantly once you go inland, and we can zero in a little bit more. Let me bring this in a little closer, and we'll switch over and put Gowanda on the map. You said Gowanda, there you go. That's your number. You can see that it's going to be hard to go out and measure that number in Gowanda because of the way it'll be blowing and drifting. But you are so on the razor's edge of what would be the impact zone where the thruway is and where you are. I think it'll be something that impacts you occasionally as it begins to wobble. Guy did say that was very helpful. We appreciate the feedback, and we're happy to do it. And whatever you guys want to drive, wherever you guys want us to take the conversation, that's where it goes. Let's go up to Hilton and Brockport. So that means we're going to the North Towns again, but we can bounce around. This is one of the benefits that we have as opposed to what the information you're going to get on TV where they're driving the bus. Here, you guys get to decide what you want to see. And Hilton and Brockport, right on over here. This is actually pretty wild that you have the ability to pick up that 6 to 10 inch mark that far away from Lake Erie, but that's a testament to how hard those winds are going to be blowing. How hard will it be to travel Christmas Day for dinner, or will they have to stay put at home? Buffalo to Tonawanda. Jonathan, I think on Christmas Day, this should be a little bit further south. So Tonawanda is out of it on Christmas Day. Buffalo, we're hoping, will be out of it. There's that's the element of this, is how far south of Buffalo will it be on Christmas Day. So that'll be an interesting situation for us. We'll be watching, but I think Tonawanda is in the clear. Is it finally going to calm down on Monday? As we kind of take a look at Williamsville, you're right in the middle of this as well. Let's go bring this in and help Williamsville out. But yes, as far as the question was, is it going to calm down on Monday? Yeah, that's it better calm down on Monday. This has been a long-term event for us. We'll bring Williamsville on, and look at this. Not a whole lot of difference than Buffalo. You're in a huge number there. 77 is less than 22. I'd turn that around, wouldn't you, Dave?
Yeah, the blizzard of 77 is the king. It's the king. I mean, that's going to be the event sitting in the king's chair that you're not going to be able to nudge. I mean, for this to surpass the blizzard of 77, it would be extremely paralyzing and impressive. And
you got it.
We don't want that to happen, but it's, this will have really, really significant impacts, or this storm will have significant impacts. But as far as it being as bad as the blizzard of 77, I don't think so.
No. All right. Daryl wants to know, when is the center of the band over Black Rock? Can we show them? It's going to be during the course of the afternoon hours. This is the timeline for all of this. The flash freeze after the polar air comes in, that happens from around 10 to 12. And then we start to see the big winds come in from around 11 to 1. And then the snow gets going somewhere between noon and 3 p.m. And I think David's got this locked and loaded for you for Black Rock. And this is the time period. I think the later you get into the day on Christmas Eve, the higher the probability that you're going to have whiteout conditions to travel in. And I think that government officials will likely shut down some of these roads long before we get into an event that's that bad. So there it is for you. Hey, I want to put Jennifer on the screen. She loves the updates way better than just watching the TV, right? Because isn't that the biggest thing? You're like, man, I wish they would just talk about what I wanted to hear, right? Well, that's why we did this, so you guys can ask where you want to be. What's it going to be Saturday afternoon, Cheektowaga by Saturday at noon? High noon, David. Can we do that at the airport? High noon, since we're sitting right here for her. There it is.
Yeah, you're going to be in the band.
Not good. Lancaster, Alden, I think you're going to be pretty close to it. Let's widen it out a little bit and show you how close. In Lancaster, you'll be in and out of this thing. That's why your number is still pretty high, because you'll be in and out. But it looks like Buffalo may spend the most time in there. What do we have here? We've got heavy winds and 3 inches of rain. I'm not sure where you are, Kathleen, but I don't think we've had 3 inches of rain just yet. Timothy says, I have a 8 a.m. emergency dental appointment in Buffalo tomorrow from Amherst. Getting in is fine. Hopefully it's not too long of an appointment. Hopefully you're in and out of there in an hour, and I think you're going to do okay. Let's slide over to Marilla. Can we do that, David? A little bit over, and let's see if the snow band ever directly impacts Marilla and East Aurora. So if we pull up those two, and you'll be able to find them. There it is. Like, just center it right there. Rods. Everybody knows where the rod roads are, and then you're over in Marilla. Does this impact that area? It looks like the evening on Friday with those big winds. Boy, West Seneca is right in the middle of that Friday night, and then it goes a little bit north. You may see, and then how about breakfast on Saturday? It's wobbling back again into East Aurora. You're going to be in and out of this thing. The afternoon hours could be an improvement for you there. Even with the strong winds, you'll still have better conditions, I think, than the Tonawandas will in the afternoon at that point. Christmas Eve dinner in Lancaster. We're sitting right there. Dinner time. When are we coming over? About 4 or 5 o'clock. That's what we're looking at that point. So Lancaster, it's too close to call. Look at how narrow of a. I wouldn't want to bet that you're going to have a lot of people going to make that one. Depending if they're coming from the south, they might get in, but otherwise, no. Let's do this. It's a little outside of our area, but we know no bounds. Bill would like to know Steuben County, Hornell, Bath, Avoca, Howard, and Coho, or Cohocton. Can we do that one for him?
I got Hornell, Bath.
Yeah, let's do that. You're not in the snow. First of all, where's that, Bill? You are not in the snow zone. You are not in the snow zone.
You're in the cold zone. You're in the windy zone.
Can we show him the switch over for Hornell? That's about all we've got. We don't have any lake effect for you, Bill, but we do have the rain to snow, and when that
8
occurs.
to 10.
There you go. A little bit later than Buffalo.
8 to
Thanks
10.
for popping in. Thanks for making a comment. Love it. And let's go over to Clayton, Randolph, and Village of South Dayton, please. Well, since you've said please, and we're doing this for everybody, let's go ahead and do this. Thank you for hitting share and like. If you haven't hit share and like in a while, hit it right now. Let's throw that number up huge, get it going so we can grab some more people, help them out, and people can say they don't even know this exists. So by you guys sharing it, it allows other people to kind of find this and get their questions answered. So let's look at this for Randolph and Village of South Dayton.
Okay. I mean, I got South Dayton. Randolph is what? Chautauqua, right?
Yep. Cattaraugus. They're just to the south of you. Follow. Is it 62? Follow 62 south there. You have them both on the screen. You're good. So the changeover is right there.
Yeah, between 6 and 8.
6 and 8, and then once it leaves the building, they actually improve greatly by the time we get to the evening hours of Friday, I think, right?
Yeah, but you're still getting that
Randolph.
cold. You're still getting that wind. And, when you think you're out of it, here comes another big gust of wind, and it's going to happen late Friday evening. So it's going to be gusty and cold up there.
All right, he's looking for part 2 for the equation. We'll give you the complete answer because we're not just going to leave you with, well, you're in and out of the snow zone. So let's work our way down there. Southern Tier, we're going to grab both of those. I believe it was Randolph, and you know what? This is too far away. I don't want to be this far away for you. So let's zero in and zoom in and see what we can do. I believe it was South Dayton and Randolph, right? They're both on the map. So as we look at South Dayton, Fredonia is going to be in the 20-inch range. You're in the teens in South Dayton. Randolph, you're going to drop off to single digits. And keep in mind, a bunch of that is just from the snow on Friday. You're not really getting a lot of lake effect. I think Randolph is kind of outside of the snow party, similar to Salamanca. Those numbers just drop off extremely quick. Thank you, Clayton. We appreciate that. Thanks for popping in and grabbing something here. Williamsville, Saturday game time, which is 1 o'clock on Saturday, 1:15 on Saturday. Ready to do that for Williamsville? I think all you got to do is take us north a little bit and we'll be good to go. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. I just saw the numbers pop up. The shares are fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate it. We're happy to do this. We've been at this now for longer than I want to admit, but there's so many folks with questions. We're happy to do this because this is the last time you're going to get to ask questions about the storm before it gets here. Then tomorrow, it's a whole nother situation. The imagery that we're going to have is great. How's it look at the Boulevard Mall area? Can we take this map to Williamsville? Are we cool with that? And then up to the Boulevard Mall, kind of do both of them at once. And I think they were looking. It was noon hour game time, 1 o'clock in Williamsville
on Saturday or Friday.
Yeah,
Saturday, right?
Roll right into Saturday.
Yeah, you're
in the snow zone.
Near the band's going to be near your area here.
Yeah, you're in. Probably not traveling to get to somewhere on Saturday. That's unfortunate. Flight into the Niagara Falls Airport on Monday. I think consensus is it is up and it is good.
Yes.
There we go. That was an easy one to knock down. We just talked about Williamsville, East Amherst. You're in there as well. David, I didn't get you. There we go. Put the profile picture on the screen. You made a comment. We'll get you on the screen. And there's a nice one, too. Hey, Karen, East Amherst, you're going to be in the same situation. We've got you out on the map there with Clarence and Akron right at game time. That's what you're looking at. So it is not going to be a good one there. In those waves have me nervous. How far inland will they reach? That'll be an interesting situation when we talk about the lakeshore. Do we have that video teed up?
Yeah.
We haven't
I can do that.
But man, oh man, this is going to be. These are the folks that live along the shoreline, and that's Route 5 in the background. Dave,
that's Hoax.
Which building? This
is Hoax. This
Hoax
is
right
one of the most iconic businesses, restaurants that you can find on the lake. And then this is Hoover Beach. You can see all the houses that are just boarded up. I mean, folks were out there this afternoon in the rain and they were still working on, bordering up the windows, the doors, because they've been through this before. And you can see how close the houses are to Lake Erie. I mean, barely even a break wall. The bordering the houses and the lake right there. But I mean, they're going to get some impressive waves, 8 to 10 foot waves. And not only that, but you're getting, there's definitely a good possibility of this water going over some of the water going over that break wall right there that you can see and inundating those houses. And, you're speaking about the car wash, the famous car wash on Route 5. There's Hoax and there's that wall right there. And I can guarantee you're going to get that freezing spray going over Route 5 because of how strong the winds are. And that's going to ice up the roadways up there. And if you leave a car out there towards Hoax, you're going to get ice car, 2.0 or 3.0. I don't know how many times somebody has done that. It seems like almost every year that happens at Hoax.
It does.
But yeah, I mean, this is such a very popular spot, Andy, that a lot of people travel to and from just to get to work.
All right, there it is. That's awesome stuff. Thank you very much. Hey, we're going to Wheatfield again. Take a look at this on the Razor's Edge. If you zoom in, there's River Road just north of North Tonawanda for Deborah. She wants to know what it's going to be like. So let's widen it out just a touch. And give her an idea how close this thing comes to Wheatfield. And we're going to answer a few others as well. We've got a lot of other questions for the North Towns. We've got a North Tonawanda up there with Michael. We're going to answer we'll clump them all together and take a look at it here. This is another one for Wheatfield. So here it is. She's asked twice. Let's set her up with the Wheatfield information.
Yeah, border. I mean, you're on the northern edge here. I mean, look at this. This is Christmas Eve, by the way. So right around morning hours, it's Amherst, it's the Tonawandas, even the southern tip of Grand Island, that's where you're seeing this band of snow. Wheatfield, just on the border's edge. I mean, this is how far north it gets during the day on Christmas Eve, and then by midday, 5 o'clock in the evening, dinner time, this begins to move on south. So you're just on that edge.
There it is. North Tonawanda is kind of in the same situation with right on the edge during the course of Christmas Day. So close that the accuracy of this model is that you're going to have the potential that you're in and out of this thing. It's only as good as about one community plus or minus on this, I think, is what we're looking at there. South Buffalo, we're almost there. You can see it. Just nudge it up just a skosh so we can see South Buffalo is in this as well.
I'm sorry.
It's so
where's this? North Buffalo?
I was just South Buffalo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was updating the Facebook page.
Oh yeah, that's fine. No problem. There it is. So you can see it there, and you're in the snow zone all day. And that's how it works. Hey, Penny, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy the format. We love having you guys ask the question and you tell us what you want to see, and we'll do it. Let's go out to East Aurora. We've got Anthony in the house. He just put these comments in. These are fresh, just moments ago. All of these coming in, so we're happy to keep going with them, and there's a whole bunch more in here as well. While we look at East Aurora, I want to answer this question for Cassie. She says, will Monday be better for travel? Hands down, yes. It is no problem. Traveling is easy. These updates are gold. Maybe, bronze or something. But yeah, no, gold. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's talk about missed the timing of flooding in Sunset Bay. The Seiche, David, we're saying is a Friday morning into the Friday evening event. It might be a double.
I would say Friday afternoon to overnight Saturday into the Saturday morning. Yep, that's when you're going to see the biggest Seiche, the biggest waves. I mean, big waves out in the middle of Lake Erie. Thankfully, those 20-foot waves are going to stay well away from the shoreline, but the shoreline, 10 to 12-foot waves, 10 to 8 to 10-foot waves, that's going to, you're going to see that. You're going to feel that. The houses, I mean, that's why the people over at Hoover Beach, they were boarding up those windows. Hoax, they were boarding up the windows. They've been through storms like this before. They know what's coming, Andy. So they're preparing for the worst.
Parkside, Delaware Avenue, Saturday into Sunday. So if we can roll through Saturday, you've got Saturday on the screen. Let's do an extreme zoom, an unnecessary zoom to because we can into Delaware Park area and Parkside. So you're up there, kind of North Buffalo, right in there. We'll hold it. You can see the park, and all your exits over there, Rhonda. So here's what happens: you're rain until around 8. Then you switch over, and then it switches to snow. It's not going back to rain. It's staying there. These are temperatures right now on your Saturday that are already in the teens and 20s. By the afternoon, you're getting snow. It's continuing. Just keep the clock going. Just keep the clock going. Does this area ever get out of the snow band as we watch this? You're right in the center of it now, still in the center of it. You're on now the early morning hours of Christmas Eve day, Christmas Eve afternoon, and maybe in the evening hours is the hint for you to get out of that. But that's going to be a mess for you, Rhonda. You're right in the center of it all. We're looking for Christmas Day in East Concord. So if we widen this out to East Concord, now I'll do it on here a little bit. Because I think I'm a little closer at this point. Let's bring this to, I think you're going to be included. Did I include you in this one, or is it the deeper one? No, you guys are right in here. Although we've got to get you in a little closer to get Concord, Collins, and Colden. There's North Collins, and then Concord is going to be in here as well. Once I probably push another meter or two. And where is it? Where are you guys? Arcade, Delavan. Why aren't you popping on the map? Of course, now you're going to make a situation out of it. But it's over Collins and Concord. Pop on, go on. All right, widening out. Every time you go to do it. Either way, this is your area down here as far as snowfall. You're Eden and Collins And Concord, you're going to be in these same numbers right in here around 62. But keep in mind the wind blowing all this around. Not a pretty picture at all down there as well. Hamburg, while we're here for Kenneth to help him out, to give him an idea of what's happening there in Hamburg. And as we kind of zero in and take him a ride, there's the 219. And if you're in the interior sections of Hamburg, North Boston, you see the numbers going up. There's Eden and Hamburg. These numbers are going to be pretty big. I took you right into the village here. There's Camp Road as you hit the thruway. If you hop over the 219, there's not a whole lot of change. I think you're going to be kind of in that same situation. Welland, Ontario, Friday, Saturday. Shall we go to Welland, David? Would you like to take a trip to Canada without having to go through the Peace Bridge?
That's a neat place to visit. Have you ever been?
Great bike ride.
The Welland Canal?
Yep.
It's awesome.
So,
you see these big ships go through. It's from across the entire world. Love it.
Yep. Does it ever get into the snow band? It looks like it'll be right. I think Fort Erie gets hit hard. Welland is maybe on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I like that. We could probably let's do a snow total, because we don't have the snow totals don't know a boundary between the United States and Canada. And that's kind of how I like it. I like to have a peaceful relationship. I love to take my bike over there, hang out. We've always enjoyed our time over in Canada. Whoa. Now, there you go. Welland, you could be on. Look at how quick you go down here. You're not very far away. Niagara Falls in the same boat. I think you're going to be. I think these numbers, I feel that the computer is trying to drop the numbers off gradually, but I think it's going to be more of an abrupt ending for Welland over there. You feel that as well, or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's trying to resolve the smash of 30, and it's trying to do a peaceful drop off. But I think in reality, it's going to be a bit more of a cliff right about where Welland is, and then it really goes down once you get up towards Grimsby. All the Americans are like, where the heck are they? Grimsby? Where is this? City of Tonawanda. We've got you on the map right there. You're going to be hit pretty hard. You're in that area. I'm going to go to the other map real quick, because sometimes you look at the one that we're on, and this one might be a little easier for folks to digest. The numbers are bigger. We got the easy readers, the big bubble numbers, if you're into that. So there you can see this one all the way up to the shoreline of Lake Ontario. Corfu, can we check on Corfu? And for snow totals, it's on the screen. Niagara Falls is on the screen. We've got a whole bunch of them here. What else do we got? We're looking for any other cities that are on the north side. Galleria Mall. Here's a specific one for Lynn. You want to grab this? Galleria Mall, 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Or are you working on
some stuff on your page?
All right, no problem. No problem.
I got it. It. What time frame?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on Friday?
4 o'clock on, let's see, it's on the screen. 4 o'clock on Friday there.
Yeah, you're going to be close to the band here. I mean, this is where that band of snow is going to be. And keep in mind, gusty winds, and whatever snow is on the ground is just going to make visibility poor. You're talking about white, fluffy snow, not the heavy snow that we've had for the past two events. This is going to be a different kind of snow. So it's going to be tough traveling along the Galleria Mall.
All right, Dave, injecting levity into the whole thing. What about Santa Claus? Well, Dave, obviously, you working with the NFTA and traffic command over there, you know that Santa flies above commercial airlines. So he's got free reign, and he's actually flying above the storm. So I had to tell my kids that Santa doesn't, he can just dip down and dip out. He flies above it, and that seemed to satisfy them as well. West Seneca, you are in the mix of all of this fun stuff pretty much from the get-go on through the day. In Orchard Park as well. David wanted to know about that, and what we can do is bring that map in. We'll take you to the South Town since we're talking about West Seneca and Orchard Park, and again, the numbers in here, very impressive numbers, but they're going to be, it's sideways snow. It's all going to be blown and drifted about and difficult to kind of clear, because once you clear it, it comes back due to the prolonged period of winds. But you can see anywhere in those zones, it is a significant thing. And this is Saturday. I mean, try to go shovel in that. Just let that image soak in for a minute, because a lot of folks are thinking like, oh, okay, you know, this is going to be like last time. It snows, the band moves away, I go and clear it. That is not the case this time around. It is going to be an absolute different animal as we go through there. Kenmore, how does Kenmore fare through all this? Kenmore gets the wind. Kenmore sees the switch over from the morning at about the same time. This is maybe the best map that answers a lot of everybody's questions. Let me pop this out of there. So there's the flash freeze from around 10 to 12. That any of the puddles that are out there, it's not freezing rain. I want to just throw that out because a lot of people thought it was freezing rain. But this is just an icing up, a rapid cool down to the point where puddles freeze. And then you start to see the winds pick up 50-mile-an-hour gusts at lunch. And by the time we get to dinner, you're going to see 60-mile-an-hour winds. And then that lake effect is cranking. And then that leads to the snow totals that kind of go like this. And we'll bring it back again because we get so many people. If you just hopped in the room, here's your north towns. The bullseye is by Buffalo. The least amount of snow is up there in Niagara Falls, Youngstown, Lewiston. Batavia is at 10 to 20. And then we're going to drop into the city. And basically, you just paste a big old 30. And then if you're north of the Thruway, it begins dropping off. But you're still a hefty shovel of snow up there. And again, with the winds, it is just a massive evacuation job because you get it out of the way and it comes back. You get out of the way and it comes back. The southern tier is really a non-factor. Anything you get in Wellsville, Olean, Warren, Angelica, that's going to come during the day, the morning hours of Friday when you get that switch over. I can just see we've got all sorts of new folks in the room. We're answering the questions. You just pop them in, and we're happy to do it if you just hit a share and a like for us. Who wants to be number 800? We're one away. Go ahead and hit that button, hit the share button. That's awesome. What it does is it allows Facebook to bring more people in so that they can ask their questions as well. And we'd love to do that for everybody. Who is this? Gwen, she says, love the page. South Cheektowaga, West Seneca border. Yeah, David, what's up?
I was going to say, can we just do a quick PSA? I have my screen shared right now because, yeah, we've been talking about the snow a lot, but the winds, and if you still have any decorations, please bring them in. In fact, I just took a photo of this the other day. This is out in the North Towns. I just was updating your Facebook page, and you can see, I mean, look at all the inflatable snowmen. This is awesome. I love the decorations, but bring in the inflatables. The inflatable Santas, the inflatable snowmen, the inflatable reindeer, wind gusts over 50, 60, even up to 70 miles an hour. You don't want these to hit your ride on the Polar Express.
No, they're gonna be gone.
So just if you haven't done so already, Friday morning, that's your time. And we're talking about early Friday morning. Get these in because they will fly
that's
to,
right.
Another yard somewhere. You're not going to recover it.
Gwen wants to know heavy or fluffy snow. This is
fluffy.
The stuff Friday morning is heavy. It's slush. But then as you get to the afternoon on Friday and the evening on Friday, it's all of the fluffy stuff, super fluff. Randolph will be blown away, or Rudolph will be blown away, not Randolph. Randolph will still be there at the end. It says, have we ever seen a weather pattern of this magnitude before? Yes. We've seen low pressure systems attack the Midwest, attack the eastern seaboard. This one just happens to be in the eastern Great Lakes, and they do occur, but just not with a lot of frequency. So when it all happens, and then you got to have the right amount of cold air. We have some exceptionally cold air with this. So all of those pieces of the puzzle really setting the stage for what is going to make for a very a messy situation for us for a number of days. What else do we have here? That the 6 to 10 for the weekend total in Albion, or just tomorrow? Not tomorrow. Let's go back to this number for Albion and talk about the number that you see on the screen. And we're going to go back up north to the first one that we get here. Let's see if we can get it in. There it comes. Albion's popping on. That 6 to 10, this is from Friday night through Sunday. And so it's not just a one-day number, but in Albion, I think the most you'll get some in the morning on Friday, and then you get tagged by that lake effect band at some point on the weekend on Saturday. Once you're done with Saturday, Albion, I think you're going to be done with the snow. And so whatever you accumulate there, you're probably going to be done. Kenmore wanted to know, are we 10 to 20 inches? Kenmore, you might be on the edge of something a little bit more than that. Let's bring it in as we go to the city. It's going to be so close to where the cutoff point is. That snow band, as David have it, can you go to the point where that snow band is at the intensity on Saturday, just to give Colette an idea of how razor's edge it is? Let me know when you're there, and we'll pop it on the screen. So if you look at the colors change ever so slightly, but that's because this is how it works. That center of the band, the heaviest snow, is going to be so close to North Buffalo and Kenmore that the dividing line, you may see the numbers drop off that quick. It's not a smooth gradation from the heavy hit down to nothing. So that's kind of the way it's going to work out. Snow for the city of Tonawanda. And that's what we've just been talking about. Colette, no problem. Happy to do that for you. Kristen was wondering the same thing. She says 30 inches in Lancaster. Is that over the course of the entire weekend? Yes, it is. As we look at that number for the weekend out in Lancaster, that is not going to be a number that you get in an hour. It is something that happens Friday and then again on Saturday and probably again on Sunday to some degree there as well. Can you make it from Buffalo to Grand Island Saturday afternoon? Can we pop Saturday afternoon on the screen? And there it is. This is in the morning hours. The answer is probably going to be no, Wyatt. I don't think you're going to be able. Number one, you won't want to drive through it. Number two, I think some of the road closures will shut you down as well. What about Christmas? Christmas looks better for the north towns as this thing continues to sink a little bit further to the south. Christmas morning, everybody kind of wants to know what's going to happen, where it's going to be, and it'll continue to kind of sink a little further to the south. Not too far, but it takes the north towns out of the play on Sunday. And the city of Tonawanda is right in there as well. You can see that snow band in the afternoon, targeting, wobbling back and forth in and out of the Tonawandas. Beth wants to know any idea where the power outages will be. And what we can tell Beth is that they are likely going to be widespread. This is not, you want to address the wind in that it's not a narrow wind field for just the shoreline.
No, this is going to be a wide area wind. I mean, once that wind comes on in, it's going to blow up. It's going to ramp up right around lunch hour on Friday. And then the evening hours, when you think it couldn't get any windier, it's going to go up another notch. I mean, that's when you're going to hear and feel the big winds. You know, the kind of winds that your house begins to shake. You start to hear it creak. That kind of wind. You know, we haven't heard that kind of wind in you know, maybe a year or two here in Western New York. The last time was when the what was it, the grain elevator that's out towards the Buffalo area, when that came crumbling down, or at least that wall. That was the last time the Buffalo area saw, you know, a good wind gust close to 70 miles an hour. So we're going to be in that wind field again late into late Friday, early Saturday. That's going to be the height impact.
Yeah. What kind of drifts can you see with 30 inches of snow? 60-inch drifts probably, right? It's kind of an interesting question, because when you think about how big the drifts could be out of this, they're going to be massive. And it's because it's not just one quick hit of wind that pushes it, but this will be a constant 12-hour blowing of snow moving all the way around. Will this get to the winds get to Brockport? Yes, they will. The winds get to Brockport, and so does the snow. I think on this last map, if I can bring it back really quick, I think Brockport is actually on here just outside of Rochester. And what you're going to find is that we dive in, it's not a heavy hit, but you're still getting snow all the way. You'll get Lake Erie's finest snow coming your way. And that's what we're watching up there. So it does look like there's going to be enough of a pattern to push that all the way up there. 60-mile-an-hour winds, not a possibility, but almost a certainty with this one. And we appreciate that, Beth. Thank you so much for the kind words. Snow totals for Pavilion. That's okay. You're doing double duty, Katie. Let's go find Pavilion and bring that in and set you up. So let's bring this back to the stream and pull this up. She's going to take a look at Pavilion as we kind of slide through the time here, and we'll go into the city, bounce around, and then I think we had Genesee County on there for you. Did we get it? See if this goes in. If this doesn't do it, if that doesn't do it for you, maybe right in there. You're going to be just to the south. You know what? Let's switch over and take care of it on this one. And we're going to slide up, bring you over to outside of Batavia in Genesee County, and kind of dig into this one just a little bit. See if we can pull it up on the screen. Wyoming, Alden, Attica, and in and around the Batavia area. You're in that I believe it was I forgot what number that we put on there, but you're a solid shot of snow anywhere there in northern Genesee County. You go a little bit further to the south, you cross 20, Attica, Alexander, Alden. That's what you're looking at in there. So that's a very good question. Thank you very much. Is 70-mile-per-hour winds out of the question? No, you could actually do this. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve night, and Christmas Day. Christmas Eve night, I think if you want to put this up here, let's call it 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Can we show where that thing is? It doesn't move a lot, unfortunately. It's going to sit right there. Doug, if I could predict, if Dave and I had any inkling on the Mega Millions, we probably wouldn't be doing a weather stream for you on a Thursday night. We'd be studying the Mega Millions. Oh my gosh. Will the lake effect ban stick around through Sunday, or does it fizzle out? It sticks around. It maybe won't be as intense, but it's going to stick around. It's not moving anywhere. As the drift gets high, keep an eye on your furnace exhaust vents. Yes, that's one of those fantastic pieces of advice that I had to learn on the last event. I cleared them, but I neglected to keep track and go again. So canceled plans for this weekend and doing New Year's Eve instead. You know what? I think punting to New Year's Eve is the safe bet for a lot of everybody. Are we okay for Christmas Eve service? There's going to be spots that are not. I mean, when you look at some of the numbers that are on the screen, you do that with the wind that's still windy even into the evening hours. Here's your wind profile, and you still have 40-mile-an-hour winds with that lake effect, and that's why the blizzard designation is there already. So it's the wind combined with that. Roof rakes, not such a big deal because this is going to be such a light snow. A normal snowfall is what's called 10 to 1. If you take an inch of water, you get 10 inches of snow. This time around, what you're going to get is about 30 inches of snow for every inch of water. Don't have to worry about the power in Bradford. Yes, you don't have to worry about the snow in Bradford, but the wind gusts are going to be a big one there as well. Robin says you must be exhausted. Yeah, just a little bit, Robin. Just a little bit. Businesses in Niagara Falls and Tonawanda, are they going to close? I think, yeah. I think that's the answer, is the common sense answer. Once people see how this starts, I think the cancellations for Saturday, if you're inside that area of snow, if you're inside this area of blue, it's going to be an easy cancellation. I think people are going to throw in the towel pretty quick on all this, and Colette agrees. So that's what we've got going on. It's been a great working with you. We've got more. If you guys have questions, pop them in there. If you can do a like and a share. If you've got your Thursday evening eggnog and you're hanging out, you're watching this, just set it down for a moment. Give us a like and a share. We're at like 837, and we could throw this over 1,000. That'd be fun. It'd be a fun little milestone for us. What about Friday? And on Friday, what we can do, this is probably not this one, but this one. The best graphic for you, Lily, is this one as we watch what happens. It takes you from the 40s to the 30s to the 20s by lunch. You get that flash freeze. Following the flash freeze, you end up with the big winds coming in from around 11 to 1. You'll notice them, 50 miles an hour. Then the lake effect kicks on. And oh, by the way, with the lake effect, you're going to get the intense winds of 60 plus miles an hour. So that's that bad combo Friday night into Saturday morning, and then those big winds continue. The strongest winds are going to be from Friday night at 6 o'clock through Saturday morning at that as well. Tonawanda and Amherst looking for the zoom in view, either the totals or the snow where it's at. So you tell me what you want to see there in Amherst and Tonawanda, and we'll do it for you. So let's go back up. We're south of the Thruway. We're now north of the Thruway. You're going to see these totals, which run through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is kind of your snow total here, and you're in the Tonawandas and the Amherst area. We'll just keep it right in there. These are the numbers you're working with, and I believe what we could do is pop this on. And if you were interested in where this was, we could probably zoom in a little at some point. But really, I like this view because it gives you an idea of where everything is. South Cheektowaga in there, you're buried in there, Wendy Lynn. You're right in the middle of all of this. And that's kind of where you're going to end up getting stuck for a while. That snow band is going to just continue to plow up the length of the lake through the city all the way to Albion. Sammy's Pizzeria. There's always one pizzeria that just stays open through everything. And it looks like that might be the one because the falls will be outside of the snow zone. It'll be up there, no problem. Can we zoom on a Gettsville total? Yeah, we can zoom on a Gettsville total. Absolutely. Let's pull that full, do this over, and we'll come over here, drop down, and check it out. You're right in there. All these towns: Buffalo, West Seneca, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, Williamsville, Sloan, Kenmore. You're all playing with essentially the same thing. So there's not a lot of difference between any of those. Tracy says getting into work in the falls at 8 a.m. is rain and snow. On Friday, absolutely. That's your rain snow mix. Then it goes to all snow real quick, and then the slush that's on the ground flash freezes, and that's what you end up with. And that's once that freezes, things get slick. And if you are on an untreated road, it's going to be icy and slippery. And then you get the big winds, and the lake effect kicks on, and that's the way it goes. The winds kick up everywhere at around 11 to 1 in the afternoon. That's the 50-mile-an-hour ones. The big 60s come in once you get into the dinner hour, and then those 60-mile-an-hour winds continue until the morning, right on through the overnight, and then they will combine with that lake band. The reason there's a blizzard designation is because you have that band of snow throwing snow inland along with these type of winds, and that's going to produce that type of a situation. These are the numbers. I'll pop them on the screen. We've got a lot of folks that just came in. Unlike television, which is fun in its own right, but this is neat because we can see the folks in the room. You guys can ask the questions. We're happy to do that for you. Holly wants to know, when will the winds die down? They are going to slowly settle down from 50 to 40 miles an hour to 30s on Sunday. So even though it's still a mess on Sunday, the winds won't be as bad. Bemis Point, you're right in there, probably dropping off rather quickly, that 6 to 10 inch number. Mayville totals, we're giving you the totals, Tyler, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think Mayville is going to be just inland enough that you're not going to see something huge there. Totals for the falls, we can go back up there for Jill and put that on the map for Niagara Falls. And again, the numbers up there, not incredible, but it will be enough that you'll be on the edge of the snow band a couple of times, and you'll be in and out of that pretty much through the day. So the hour by hour accumulation, we don't have the hour by hour snow total accumulation for this. And it's not that it's something I didn't want to do this time, Rocco, but honestly, when you have 60-mile-an-hour winds and you have the snow going sideways, you can't go out and just put a ruler in this thing. It's going to be something that just gets blown around, uneven drifts. You're going to have cars that are covered on one side and completely bare on the other. It's going to be a really bizarre landscape when the winds come to an end, when they start dropping down enough that people want to venture out into this snow band and see what's out there. We're going to get some great pictures back. And by the way, if you're able to take some pictures and you want to share them with us, or if you want to ask a question anytime, go ahead and throw this text number on your phone. This is an actual active number. It's 716-503-ANDY. It goes right to the cell phone, and you can get questions answered as long as I'm awake and not sleeping, which isn't very much during these weather things. But it's 5:03. Andy is actually 2639. So if that makes it easy for you. The winds die down during the day on Sunday. So we'll answer that one. Mayville totals for tomorrow. I think we just covered it, but let's put it back on the screen and we'll take you down to Mayville. It's really not that far. Mayville's a great drive. Every time I get a chance to go down there, I always say, man, I've got to make a point to find a reason to get back down here because it is absolutely gorgeous. And as we pull Mayville up, what you're going to notice is the angle of the snow band dumps on Dunkirk and Fredonia. The further south you go, the numbers drop off quick. And the computer model likes to make it nice and smooth. But the reality is you're going to see a huge drop. By the time you get to Jamestown, you're single digits in there. Linda wants to know, Bemis Point is in there as well. When will the snowfall be in Niagara Falls? You're going to get the snow in Niagara Falls during the course of the day on Friday, and then for a time on Saturday, but then it's going to stay out of view the rest of the time. Is Jamestown going to get a 3-inch total? Yeah. If I had to bet Jamestown on this one, I think you're in the 3-inch mark. I'd feel very safe in saying that you're in there. So let's go back over here. You're probably not a foot, but you see how one side of the lake to the other, that drop off, when you see that with numbers, it indicates that the computer model knows that's where the snow is going to end, and you're going to be right on the edge of this. Snowplow Company, Vision Lawn Care, and he told his clients, if we can't see, we can't plow, and you got to wait to clear it up. They're not going anywhere. If you can't see enough to plow their driveway, those folks aren't getting out. Now, the Buffalo Bills, everybody's just got to stay home and enjoy the game. Soldier Field, the kickoff is, I think, 1:15, and you're going to keep an eye on the temperature because they're going to make a big deal out of the air temperature, but the wind chill is going to be between -10 and -20, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of an impact that has on the game. Yeah, things are going to be closed. I think you're going to see a lot of things closed during the course of that day. How do you support us? All you've got to do is hit that like and the share button. The big deal is the share. And if you can, if you want to go ahead and throw this number on your phone and put it in there so that when we do these lives, we'll notify you when there's big weather events. Yeah, we can communicate one-to-one, kind of cut through the red tape of the social media. That works out really well for everybody. So that's how you can do it, Lynn. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hopes the weather comes down on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I don't think Christmas Eve it's going to be a calm day, but comparatively speaking, Christmas Day is going to look a lot better. I love this. Everybody's talking about Sammy's Pizza in the Falls. Now it's on the bucket list next time I'm up there. Appreciate it. Happy to do that. Anytime you guys want to pop in, you don't have to wait for the 11 o'clock news, especially on big events. If you subscribe and like the page, next time we fire this up, you guys will be the first to know. You get that little ping and you can pop in. We'll always leave them up there too, so you can go back in. Usually in the first 2 minutes of the program, we try to cover just about everything from the upcoming storm, everything that's new, and then we'll get into the questions and start knocking them down. So, hey, everybody hit the button one more time on the way out. I'm going to pop myself back up on the screen. I think Dave already dug out for a moment, but we pretty much covered everything we needed to do. Buckle up for Friday. We're going to be here. You can actually text if you, I'll put this on the screen. Everybody out there, if you want to text a weather picture, if you've got a cool drift outside, go ahead and put it on your phone and send it over. We're happy to share that stuff. We're going to have some amazing images from the lake. We're going to have some views of that, the storm surge. It's all going to be here. It's going to be fun to watch with you during the holiday weekend. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you again.